I'm here to introduce, first of all, Evan Ormestad, who is currently playing bass for AHA on tour. He graduated from the Norwegian Academy of Music and has gone on to work together both in production and playing several instruments for a number of different artists. Other than AHA, he's now best known as part of the original lineup for Jaga Jazzist. And that's where I first got to hear some of his work and have been very impressed. So we would like to welcome Evan to the stage.
Well, to be honest, my career started before I started at the Norwegian Academy of Music, so the school was more like a by-effect than all the other things happening afterwards, I think. I got to be in a very nice environment, but met a lot of nice people. It was have been important to me in my career afterwards, of course, but actually the main thing is being in Jaga Jazzist, much more than being in a fancy school, absolutely. Being touring and playing and making music, that's the most important thing. Well, I grew up listening to the two first albums, and I played bass in front of the mirror to AHA tunes before I was a teenager. So I've always been a fan, and of course the two first albums might be like the most special ones to me, since I grew up with them, but yeah, I have many favorite songs from all the later albums as well. My musical influences. Well, I grew up listening to Beatles and Baroque music, actually. That's what my mother played for me. And Beatles is still one of my greatest influences. Paul McCartney is one of my absolute favorite bass players of all time. But then again, I listen to all kinds of music, from classical to metal. Good music doesn't have a genre, it's either good music or not. Well, I'm not that into black metal, but the Swedish metal bands, Entombed, their earlier work before Nick left to create the Helicopters, when he still was the drummer and the songwriter. That's really cool. And of course, Meshuggah. Yes, it's the nerdy metal stuff, yeah. Well, lots of especially the early AHA stuff is a lot of synthesizer bass, actually. So in order to adapt that to bass guitar, I had to work a lot with the sounds and stuff. I've tried to be very respectful for the original arrangements and original sounds, but of course it's not always easy to make it sound precisely like on a bass guitar. But I actually also use a synthesizer bass, and that is something I'm used to with Jaga Jazzist. It's always been like this mix of electronics and acoustics and everything. Of course, it's a different kind of music that I usually play, but that's also like the most, what can I say? It's so interesting to work with music that you're not used to, of course, in a different genre than you're used to. As long as it's good music, then it's always interesting. I'm not sure. actually, I play on like 3 or 4 songs on that album, and my favorite, I think, is Under the Makeup in the orchestral version. But it's cool to play this really stripped down version like we do now also, of course. It's a good song, fits many different formats. That's a tough question. And don't get me the wrong way, but everything gets a little alike when you're playing these big venues. It's always very much fun. I think maybe a special show for me was in Paris, because my father was there. And it was the same thing perfect. Sigmund Lead is of course fun to play because it has this huge instrumental section. So this organ solo, and it's really getting there. So of course that's always a great moment during the concert. Well, the contact was Harold. You all know Harold, the manager, yes? He called me and asked if I'd like to join a-ha for their comeback on their new tour. And not surprisingly, I said yes. And actually, I knew both Erik and Karl Oluf and Harold from before. And I also know that at least Paul and Max knew of me from Jagged Jazzist. So I think that's how it all got together. Yeah.